Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Savvy from Savvy Events and Savvy ET Corner. So we got some artists in here tonight. We're going to be chopping it up. We're going to be talking that industry talk, y'all. So on right here next to me, we have the lovely, the beautiful Miss Yasmin Thomas. Hey, lady, what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on, Savvy? It's your girl, Philly, from Can You Talk with Philly. Glad to be here. Glad you invited me on. What's good with it?
Look, we're going to be talking a lot of stuff tonight. So
All
you
right.
ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Look, I'm born ready. Like, I love to talk, so let's go.
Okay, well, tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, born and raised in Philadelphia, came here, went to Morgan State University with the do MSU. And I have just, been in the education world for a little bit, and got into podcasting about 3 years ago. Loved it. Loved, all the connections I made, all the people that I got to meet and talk with. And I've been making it do what it do, like on the road interviews, on the spot interviews, pulling up on people, just, talking to several. I'm not going to name drop, but if you go
ahead and name drop. We
my
are.
podcast page.
Go ahead and name drop. We like the name drop.
I've been blessed to talk to, Chico Bean, Carlos Miller, Darren Brand, Mojo Brooks, Tommy Davison. I'm going to draw a blank right now. It's like so many people. Tevin Campbell, Tamar Braxton. So I've been blessed to just pull up and just talk to a lot of interesting and beautiful people from Baltimore. A lot of local celebrities, such as the people that's here right now. And just, finding out their why. Like why you do what you do, because hopefully, prayerfully, it'll inspire somebody else to do the same thing.
So how long you been doing your podcast?
So I started, I'm drawing a blank right now. I want to say February of 2021 is when I started.
Okay.
I branched out on my own in 2022. I think 2021, something like that. Anyway, I've been doing my own thing now for 2 years, going on 2 years. And it's been a blessing, like just to be able to move how I want to move and do the things that I want to do and meet the people that I've met. Being solo, it kind of have its perks. You can pull up by yourself and people are more than happy to sit down with you and talk to you.
So last week was it last week or was it yesterday or the day before yesterday?
Child, what?
You posted something about some event that you was doing. Did it happen yet or?
Oh, so yes. So I did a women's only. Well, I kind of jumped on that particular venture with Baltimore Hydroponics. So they are a cannabis grow company. And they have a women's only grow class every first Wednesday. And so, doing my thing and just kind of helping. But it's like a slow process because, people are kind of hesitant about cannabis because it has such a stigma.
Right.
And understanding that, people do it in the dark. But let's bring this to the light. Those who need it. Those who, need it.
I think I need it. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, it has so many healing benefits, and I'm not even going to hold you, outside of all of, those wonderful different strains or whatever. But go down to Baltimore Hydroponics, 701 South Broadway.
Shout out
to them.
Right.
It's been an amazing connection, just, doing a podcast with them first. And then just sitting around chopping it up, and they're like, "Oh, we need a female grow class." I'm like, oh, "Okay, let's go."
Okay, so where you originally from, though?
I'm originally from Philadelphia, North Philly to be exact, 31st and York, 15th and Duncannon.
I lived up there for like a year and a half.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Right. But everyone is trying to say that I'm from Baltimore now because I've been here since 92.
Got you. Mm-hmm.
And so since I've been here, since 92, it's like certain things, like when I say Baltimore, everybody's like, yo, you say it just like people
Yeah, you
from
did.
down
Yeah.
here.
And what's
So-
crazy, I say Baltimore, and they be like, "Are you from here?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because it's pronounced Baltimore.
I
You gotta
know, but-
pronounce the T. You know.
Baltimore.
Nah, I
All
can't.
day.
I'll be trying. But it's funny, right? Because I lived in Philly for like a year and something, and I picked
Okay.
up a lot of sayings. But it's one saying that y'all say up there,
John.
John and draw. Like, what is that?
Drawing. Like,
Yeah, what
when
is
you,
that?
When you drawing, that means you doing too much. Like, yo, relax. Like, yo, you drawing. Like,
Okay. 'Cause I was confused.
And John is a, person, place, thing.
It's whatever.
It's whatever. It's like,
It's
yo,
whatever.
that John over there. Well, this John right here tastes good. Or, yo, I'm going to the John later on. My
Okay.
John, she tripping. You know what I mean? Like, it could
Wow.
be.
So y'all just take one word and y'all just use it for everything.
Listen, got to.
Okay.
Got to.
All right. Well, we want to get into this conversation.
Yes.
It's called the Industry Talk tonight. So I want to bring on our guests. I'm going to introduce them. So first of all, we got Mr. Jamal G over here. How you doing, Mr.
Hey.
Jamal G?
What it
I'm
do?
well. How you?
Fine. Then we got to the next to him, we got artist Vado.
What's going on?
All right. Then the beautiful lady over there in the pink hair that's been here before. That's right. We got the fabulous, the beautiful, my favorite. She know I'll be favoring it over here. Miss Danger Raw, how you doing, ma'am?
Peace, everybody.
That's right. And my girl over there that brought me a gift. That's what I'm talking about. You come in and you bring gifts. You just bring gifts. That's what I'm saying. So
Yes.
I want you to say your name because I don't even want to mess it up over here.
How y'all doing? I'm Ebonics. It's nice to meet y'all.
All right.
Okay, Miss Ebonics is in the house. All right, so how y'all feeling? How you feeling? Let me start with you, Mr. Jamal. How you feeling today?
I'm well. I'm well.
Okay,
Everything's
tell
well.
us about yourself a little bit.
Hip hop artist. I mean, I don't really like to go too much out of the scope of hip hop
Okay.
artists, right? Simply because it's just like it's an all-encompassing term. That's just who I am, a hip hop artist. I'm a big hip hop historian. Those things.
Okay, so you want to keep it sweet with us, just short and sweet, right?
I mean, in terms of in terms of title.
Okay.
And
Right.
accolades. I mean, we can talk all of us here. I'm sure we have different experiences in different places and things like that. And we can talk accolades and titles all day. But I think it's more so about the conversation that we're having tonight.
Okay. So moving right along, Mr. Vado, what's going on over there, sir? Talk to us.
DJ, producer, engineer. I do content creation, social media management, community work. I do advocacy. It's a lot of stuff that I do. Artist development, list goes on. It's really no limit, no ceiling. I'm just here to help the artists, here to help my city grow.
That's right. Okay,
what's up.
that's what I hear. That's why I like you, sir, because you got a lot going on over there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we gonna move right over to the beautiful Miss Danger Raw. Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying beautiful Miss Danger Raw. Talk to us, lady.
I don't know, where to start, to be honest.
Right.
Because they kind of, touched kind of
Everything?
how I feel. Yeah, I wear a lot of hats, as you know, and I'm still on a self-discovery journey, you know what I'm saying? So the more and more that I grow, the more and more talents I figure out that I have. But I'm speaking in existence, a mogul. I'm an artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an advocate. We could go all day, but I am excited to touch more base about the cannabis thing because I'm actually in school. I graduate this month
All
for
right.
cannabis health.
Oh, okay.
So-
well, then you and I definitely
Yeah, we
need
got to
to
talk.
connect. Yes, yes.
So that made me excited. But yeah, I'm just excited to be here today, to be honest. So.
All right.
Good. Let's move on to Miss Ebonics. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good.
Okay, let's chop it up. Talk to us about yourself.
Keep it cute and simple. I'm a super nigga. I don't know, everybody got all the same titles. Because I'm pretty sure we all do a lot of the same things. But I'm a super nigga, as in a female's body.
Oh, did you say
Alright.
super nigga?
I love that.
Yeah, she said that.
I thought I heard something wrong over there.
I'm a super nigga.
Okay.
Wow, she said her name Ebonics. She meant that.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it means too. It's a culture. It's not it's a lifestyle. It's a way. It's me. I'm very educated, but I'm down to earth. So I'm a super nigga.
Okay.
You ain't even got to put the butt in there. You're very educated and you're down to earth. Like,
Right.
you're just doing both of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're very educated and
Yeah, and I'm Yeah.
And you're down to earth.
Factual.
All right.
All right, so I do want to I want you to shout out your brand right
yes.
here. Let's talk
Yes.
about that just a little bit.
Take the hat out.
AWAC hat. So what I brought you today is a reversible bucket hat. It's two-sided. You have the lime green with the hot pink, and then if you
Are you getting this?
it's hot pink
Yes.
with the lime green. It stands for anywhere, any city, and that literally means we are anywhere in any city at any time doing anything.
Okay.
It's just repping your city, it's repping where you from. If we're trying to branch and get everybody coming together, we're geared towards artists. It's more than just a brand. It is a media conglomerate in the making. Events, networking, business, social media, art gallery,
Love it.
everything. We do have a website for the clothing. It's awakhacks.com. And that is already up and running. We do also have anywhereanycity.com. It's not yet open to the public, but we are soon going to start getting people to come and test out the website. I've already joined and opened it up and signed up for it, and it's actually pretty dope. And being a part of the process, watching it being built and watching things come together. The last 6 months has really changed my life, so I can't
Yes.
wait until it gets here. The brand is based out of Georgia, but I am the DMV regional person for that.
Okay.
So please connect with me if you're doing a whole bunch of things. I come out, I do record performances and things of that, but again, we're here for something different. But yeah, reach out to me.
Okay, that was a lot. I like that.
That's what's
And it
up.
come in this beautiful bag. That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that's my
Yes.
favorite part
Don't,
about
yeah,
this.
don't
velour,
right.
I
Don't
love
be
it.
bringing me no thank you bag.
Oh, listen, top tier.
Yeah,
Top
right.
tier.
Thank you.
Presentation is everything.
All right, so we're going to get into this conversation because I know some people are
Yes.
waiting on this conversation to be talked about. So the other day, which was that, like Wednesday, me and Vado was on live and we talked a little bit. We chopped it up a little bit. I want to thank you for that, for having me on there, so I hope that the people that tune in is tuning in now. So if y'all have anything y'all want to say, any comments, please leave it and we'll try to read it off. If we got anything for the artists for the table, because we're going to be table talking today, guys. So if y'all have anything for the table, please write y'all comments and we're going to read them off and we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Jasmine. Do you got something you want to start off with these lovely
definitely. And this goes out to anybody that's sitting here right now, but I want to know, how did you get into rap music? Like, what inspired you to pursue that particular genre of music? Just jump in.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
I was about to say, me personally, I don't pursue just the rap genre.
Okay.
I like to focus on artists,
Okay.
so that just involves them just being as abstract as possible, being different, So I'm pretty much open to working with anybody.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
For me, it was more so. I have older siblings that are about 10 years older than me, so on and so forth.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were never doing the same things at the same time, right? And hip hop served as a conduit for us to kind of connect together. And so getting older, we progression. You kind of sit down and you be a part of this rap thing with your friends and your family members, and then eventually I just went ahead and went out and started doing things on my own. I had a real big college buzz back when I was in college, so I did a lot of the college circuit. I did Bowie State University.
Hey.
I did Morgan. I did UMES. I did Coppin for
All right.
3 or some odd years, right? Until I realized that I needed to kind of garner my own audience and recognize what my draw was. So then I partnered with this company called Raw Artists. And I did a few shows with them until I started taking my own mantle and doing my own things. And like I said, Philly is one of my best markets.
Okay.
I love Philadelphia. But yeah, so all of the things, like I said, I think you kind of have to have this. In my opinion, you kind of have to have somewhat of a machismo attitude to kind of get into hip hop a bit. To think that your ideas or your ideals, your morals, your values, your opinions should be broadcasted to the world, right? So I kind of live in that space, and also I'm forever navigating life on different levels, and so I just have thoughts and ideas that I feel like everybody should hear. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like my inspiration at this point today. It started out just being a family thing,
Okay.
and now I do it on the more of a strategic, tactical level because I feel like we're all navigating from a particular place.
Okay.
And I'm one of those guys that think I can have the forethought to help everybody else.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
All right.
We're gonna go ahead to the ladies. Which one wants to start?
I could start. Being perfectly honest, I started off as a poet very young. I didn't talk a lot, but I carried around a notebook. I was real standoffish, and I didn't like you. I ain't saying nothing, but if I had something to say, you was gonna read it. And but my grandmother made me sing in church. That was her thing. She was not with the music, but I come from a very musical background. My uncles are into music. All my cousins sing and rap. My dad was a DJ. It just kind of trickled down. I didn't used to rap at all. I used to just sing all the time. And about a couple of years ago, somebody challenged me one day and was like, I dare you to get on this song. And I was like, well, for what? They was like, because listening to the way that you write your music, I could tell that you got bars. And they was like, yeah, you're not writing no more songs, so I challenge you. We're gonna battle it out on a track. And they really forced me to write a rap song.
Okay.
And it went good. They forced me to go last, and I had the better verse. So I won. So I stuck with it. I started playing around with it, and then my uncle caught wind. And when he caught wind, he chucked the singing, and now I'm rapping. So here we are.
Okay.
So, all right.
I want to say we have like similarities, like to a T, because I've spoken about this before. So I grew up in the church heavily too. My grandfather's grandmother is like one of the first founders of one of the first black churches with this Southern Baptist. So I was always around music, you feel me? So then coming up, I was a dancer first. Like dance is my love, my passion, everything. And as a dancer, like music moves through you a little bit differently. You have to feel the vibrations and really let it move you. But it's a spiritual experience like how music is. So, hold on now. But yeah, kind of similar. I was in high school when I really fell in love with rap music.
Okay.
The era that I was in high school, like Nicki was underground breaking into more so mainstream, you feel me? So, and she's getting ready to release Pink Friday too, you know what I'm saying? But but yeah, she really inspired me. But before then, because I'm a dancer first, Missy really inspired me.
She's my god.
So yeah, and then with my family being from VA too, a lot of my family's from VA and the islands. We rep Missy heavily, so
Yes.
But the first person who inspired me from the jump was probably the Jacksons, Janet and Michael. Of course, I was more of a pop girl before hip hop, really.
Yeah.
But then
R&B for me.
but then with life experience,
Yeah.
hip hop started speaking different.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean, Tupac to then college days when Nip, R.I.P. to both of them,
Definitely.
they be talking that talk for real from a street aspect to then branching off into other avenues of life. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
and we're here.
What's up?
Okay.
What's up?
All right, so I got a question for the panel. So we're gonna start with the females, and we're gonna work all over to the men.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Females first.
Yeah.
So we talking the industry talk. So a lot of y'all has been doing this for a while, right? So what is your opinion on how the industry is ran today, as far as from your aspect?
You want to start that one?
I mean, So I'm blunt. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
Yeah, say what you gotta say.
Can we curse?
Long as we ain't being disrespectful to everybody
No,
else.
no, no, no,
And you
no.
can curse, just nothing vulgar.
Give it to
Okay,
him.
so
Yeah.
honestly, the industry itself, the business, a lot of the business behind this is a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I say that is because you have people out here that are really, really talented, but it's no longer about the talent anymore.
That
Okay.
part.
It's about the popularity. It's about the sex that's selling. It's about
Yeah.
who can we make look more embarrassing the most to sell this thing right here, right now. Considering the time frame that we all, even y'all before us, came up in music. I grew up on listening to who my mother listened to. So that's the Isley Brothers, that's the Temptations, that's Motown, that's coming into the Jacksons, which is going to Aretha Franklin, Luther Vandross, giving us 112 Diddy era and all to now what it is. The way music has grown, and it's literally not the music itself, but the business behind it. It's
Right.
just Sheesh.
It's about money. I mean, you just said it.
became
It's about selling.
That's it.
Selling units. It's
Hey,
not
and
even about talent.
How long can I pimp you out real quick?
That part.
Exactly.
That
How
part.
much can I make off of you real fast
Yep.
to push a narrative, especially in the Black community?
And
of
listen,
ignorance, like in this.
and how bad do they
shameful.
really want it?
Yes, because
And you could tell how bad some people really
Yes,
want
they
it
do.
by how they showcase
they do
themselves in
Yeah.
public.
strange
Exactly.
things.
Let me tell
Change.
you, strange.
Like I'm
Very peculiar.
and even with women being on top of the game right now,
Mm.
I'm a little bit embarrassed. Like
How about that?
I'm a little
Very
bit embarrassed.
Talk your talk.
I'm not mad about
Right.
it because I understand the business behind it. I may not
Right.
agree, but I'm not mad.
Right.
However, I am embarrassed because as a woman, especially with me being a heavier woman, the way
Right.
that they do, how they doing Lizzo now, how they try to do Lizzo then. Oh, she's
Right.
not really a rapper. No, yes, she really is. Y'all don't want to give her that because you can't sexualize her in the way that
Exactly.
you want to, because
Okay.
she's
Right.
not going to allow you to. Even down with Missy. Missy should have been had the things that they're giving her now.
Oh my gosh.
The
Yeah.
Y'all
accolades.
waited until
But then she had lost all
lost
that
the
weight.
to
And
give
now
it to her. She
that
should
part.
have been. She was the hottest thing smoking then.
Literally.
I
Kim,
agree.
I freaking love Kim, but she paved her way for the Nickies and
Right.
Cardi's
Exactly.
and for the
Right.
Megans, and I love all of them respectively.
Kim and
So for
Foxy.
what-
Let's not forget Foxy. Foxy
They- and
Brown
they
is one
did
of
her-
the
they did her
most
dirty,
underrated.
Underrated, even down to Remy Ma. Like
Oh, gosh, yeah.
come on,
Bars.
like it's sexualized, it's pigmentized, it's
that
it's-
part.
It's a lot, right?
I'm gonna go ahead.
It's
and
definitely
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on.
from your perspective, yes.
I'm about to say, like, you didn't say anything wrong because, like, right now, with a lot of the drops that's been going on and the artists that they're pushing, it's a narrative behind it. It's no substance behind the women that's being represented. But the crazy part is, we have them.
We do.
We have Tierra Whack, we have Chika, we do have the people like Lola Brooke who have a Foxy Brown influence where they come off more on a harder end, you know what I'm saying? But what's being pushed is just the sexual point of it.
Yeah.
And it's sad because even down to like how you said with the whole Lizzo situation, I don't like how when it comes to the media, there's an assassination against Black women. We already have it hard enough. We have to fight even harder in different rooms. And then to throw the self-image and colorism and all the other narratives on top of that, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. And, like, that's why I say you hit the nail on everything.
Yes,
I really
you did.
can't say, like, but so much because,
I know what I'm fighting against.
no, literally.
I'm an anomaly in this industry. I am
Yeah.
an outcast in this realm. I'm brown skin, I'm heavy, I'm a female, and I got locks.
But that's why we,
The natural.
right. That's
You
why we
feel
having
me?
this conversation right now, so we can
Right.
change that think pattern for people.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's move over to the guys. Come on, Mr. Votto, what you got for us over there? Don't be shy.
So when I think industry, I think about like the broad aspect of industry, but then I also think about on the local aspect as well. So I think about the open mics, I think about the networking events, I think about the pop-up shops, I think about the things that's within your community. Like these are the places where fan bases get built at. And to be honest, when I move around in the community, people say a lot of the same things that you're saying. They're like, well, we don't want to hear this or we don't want to get behind this. So really, it's just about creating our own media, really, and getting behind our own media.
Yeah.
Because I believe positivity sells just as much as negativity, if not more.
Factual.
Okay. Mr.
I
Jamal.
agree.
I think my opinion is a bit different. I mean, I don't have a problem with the industries being ran right now. I think we have the power to do anything we want to do. I think it's just a matter of you being you, what you want, right? Superstars are made on the radio. We know this to be a fact. Stars and everybody else, they have an online following. You can go anywhere you want to go. You can have your brand and make your brand do what you want it to do, right? And then have the industry kind of catch up to you.
Yep.
So I don't have a problem with the way the industry is being ran. I don't have a problem with anything. I don't have a problem with the way a person represents themselves. That's how they want to do it, right? I think personally, I've decided, just like Vado says, like, bro, I'm outside doing community. I mean, I've been doing all types of open mics since I was a kid. I mean, from the verse temples to the the industry Wednesdays, the Woo Wednesdays down the Crown. I've done multiple open mics, you know, to kind of create a brand for myself in Baltimore City,
Okay.
and then, you know, it kind of catapulted to what I was talking about earlier with the partnerships. But in terms of representation and how the industry is being ran, and the industry can't really run anything these days. I mean, like I said, we got phones, we got content creators. You can go out there and create your own content. You can go independent and be one of the biggest, right? And get the most money. I mean, Chance, LaRussell. We have.
I love LaRussell. Yeah,
We have
independent.
we have these people in front of us to use as a template for us to go out and create the careers in which we want. Right, the narrative. It's the difference between the narrative that's being pushed and how you choose to run your own business.
Facts.
So
Okay.
I can agree.
I like that. I
I
that.
think that was pretty good what you said on the
Yeah.
last part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but even on like the social media platform, I think about the algorithm, right? And I think about all the people that I don't see on my page and all the other stuff that I do see. And I think even if you're trying to use social media to like expand your brand, like how do you break that algorithm? How do you get in?
I think the algorithm. See, the thing about the algorithm, they look at it as this like this third wall behind that door. When in reality, it's not. It's kind of like the reality of it is, if Ebonics posts something, I repost it. It'll get to you, right, due to the fact that you follow me, and depending on how often you watch my story, I am the first story in which you see on your. You can rework your algorithm the way that you want it to. You know what I mean? For a long time, I tell y'all a story. Like for a long time, when Instagram first came out, you can kind of get overwhelmed with all of the things that was going on Instagram. When I got on there, I wanted to just push my music. Right? But then I start seeing beautiful women. Right? This is the truth. You start seeing beautiful women, and then you start venturing off to their pages. You start going down these rabbit holes. Next thing you know, your explore page is just filled with beautiful women.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when you had a goal in mind. And so you can kind of structure your algorithm to kind of do what you wanted to do. And if Instagram doesn't work, you go over to this social media platform.
Okay.
If that one doesn't work, you go to this social media. My mind is kind of like taking ownership of your brand and then doing the things that you want to do with it to get your engine to go.
Okay, y'all hear that out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dropping knowledge.
Right. So I have a question, a personal question. So I do manage artists, right? I manage an artist and I manage an actor. So this conversation is supposed to be between management and artists, but we don't have any managers outside of me, and I don't want to get caught up in what I think because it's really here. I'm giving y'all the platform to talk. But my question is, how do y'all, if anybody in the room ever worked or do you have a manager or anybody that represent them, how do y'all feel the relationship, or what do y'all think that the manager or the person that represent you supposed to do to help your career? We can start over with the guys since we started with the females first.
I have this. I mean, again, you're gonna get a lot of, different kind of perspectives from me. I don't have the dynamic between a manager and an artist. For me personally, it's just to enhance the artist's career in the best way that they know how. Early on, a lot of managers serve as assistants. They're dual-hatted, right? They serve as assistants and they serve as managers, right?
Right.
The manager initially is to manage what I already have. If I can't manage it myself, I license someone out to do the management of the work in which I feel overwhelmed by.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. A lot of artists go out here and they go and get managers, and just to say that they have, reach out to my people.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Just to have,
right.
you want to do something like that. Like, reach out to my people. But the reality of it is, my man, you have nothing to manage.
Right.
You have zero. The shows that you come in, you get one a month.
Right.
And then you might do an open mic.
Right.
The licensing opportunities are scarce to none.
Mm-hmm.
You have no art, no features coming in. You have no money to manage.
Right.
And so just to have a manager just to say, like, that's kind of crazy, right? It's a bit asinine. But to me, I think the dynamic is it all really depends on how you establish a relationship, right? Are you an assistant? Are you supposed to be somebody that I confide in? Are you an A&R, right? Do I sit in the studio with you and I discuss my life and then you decide, why don't you go in that direction? That's an A&R's job.
Right.
Okay.
A manager can be all-encompassing, depending on the dynamic which you establish in the beginning,
Exactly.
right? So I my opinion is a bit.
No,
So
but I
then-
like that. I like that.
Yeah, and then I have a question because I've been asked by a couple comedians to be their manager.
Sure.
And so I was kind of hesitant because I'm like, first of all, like I don't even know what that entails, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much of my life I'm gonna have to give up in order to make sure that you're successful. Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's the end goal. You want to make sure that your artists are successful. So, what are some expectations that the artists expect from their managers
You asking me?
and anybody?
I think like a main thing, cause like I'm real vocal about stuff. Like I actually had to like vent before Too Savvy, so I ain't gonna name drop now. But but when it comes to like, it's pretty much like how you said to a certain extent. Like when you have a manager, they in essence are supposed to be working for you and with you to a certain extent. If y'all don't establish like, which eventually it's bound for you to happen to have some type of like personal relationship because they're intertwined with your personal life at some point. But depending on the individual themselves, like I'm kind of somebody, I've had a manager, but I've managed myself. When things started becoming like an overload for me and overwhelming, that's kind of like when I expected for them to like come in and balance it out. But again, I'm a reference Nip again. If you have somebody like a Karen Civil behind you, you feel me, and you already making these plays yourself, you know what I'm saying? What can you add to the table? What can you add for me if I'm really like growing myself and my brand on my own? So you kind of like that razzle dazzle for real to bring
Yeah.
stuff
Okay.
together. You know what I'm saying?
We pay you for information.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, if
Right.
you have a comedian that's already popping, right, or
Right.
they got a little buzz, right? Let's say
Right.
you got and I hate to call anybody local because I don't believe that. We have the internet, right? You can be as far as you want to be, right? Big in the
Absolutely.
UK. But the reality of it is, if you have a comedian who's local to Baltimore, I mean, resident in Baltimore, right? And you decide to be like, and they say, I want you to manage me. I have these things coming in. I'm now paying you to be inquisitive. I think that's the biggest thing for anybody, right? If you are an inquisitive person, no matter of your level of education, I think you can be successful, right? If you're asking the right questions. So I pay you for information. So when Tommy Davidson comes to town, I need you to know where he's going to be and if there's any opening slots. If there's any opening slots, is there any opportunity for me to get in the same room with him, get 5 minutes, right? Because that's when I'm paying you to enhance my life, right?
Okay.
To tack on to my
And
brand.
I think that's exactly where it was because they see, my ability to get into any room.
Yeah, I mean, you speak
talk to
very
any
well.
artist,
Yeah, very much so. And that's what it is. Like I think that's what comedians are. And I mean, comedians is a different beast than artists itself. I'm not just artists itself. I mean, musical artists, right? Comedians. You want them booked in certain places. You want them booked at the Baltimore Comedy Club, and then you want them to go out to D.C., the Laugh Factory. You want them to go,
Right.
you know what I mean? But you also want to put them on with different acts because the comedians have the ability to steal the room. If you're funny, you're funny. You know what I mean? When you go into a hip hop show, if I came to see Nipsey Hussle, and then you just get on and you got 15 minutes before. No matter if I hear a song that I like or not, I'm just here to see Nipsey.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But as a comedian, like, if you funny, then you funny. Now I'm following you, right? So that's
Right.
I don't want to say it's the job isn't easier, no, but I
Right.
think it's an easier beast to work
Okay.
than hip hop. But yes, that's
Thank you. Thank y'all for that. Thank you. Yes.
All right, so let's move on to Vado. Answer, the questions on your table.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say like, just as me being an advocate from what I hear the most from artists, because me personally, I haven't had a manager. It's something I more so look into hiring assistants rather than hiring a manager. But from what I hear the most, a lot of artists have the expectation mainly from their manager that they want to just get paid for most of the things that they do. That's what I hear the most. They want paid shows. They want to get paid to go here. They want to get paid to go there. But in all actuality, like the brother right here said, you gotta have something to manage. That you got, whether that be content, whether that be ambition, whether that be good character, a network, something. You have to have something for me to be able to leverage to get us to the next level. So I think also what the expectations of a manager is versus what a manager actually does is kind of like two different things.
Right.
You know, me and Savvy actually talked about that, some of the obstacles that we actually have, like, you know, just dealing with artists and trying to develop them and trying to get them to the next level. And, you know, it's a challenge because what I will say is in certain areas or dealing with certain artists or dealing with dealing with the way the scene is, you have to be mindful of the mindset as well. You know, so in saying that, you know, it's a strategic way to go about it. It's more like chess, not checkers.
Right,
know?
exactly. And I agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Bonnings, what's your point?
So I definitely agree with everybody, but I want to piggyback off what they do and the actual expectations. So in my experiences, I have not actually had a manager, but I've had the privilege to work with Savvy. I've had the privilege to work with someone before her, and now I have a partner. And like you were saying, it is the mindset. It is the work drive. You do have something that you have. Like you said, artists do expect, well, if I got a manager, you're supposed to get me paid. You're supposed to do this, and or you're supposed to pay for, or you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do. When yes, I may be able to, and yes, I can get you into those rooms. However, if you're not willing as an artist to do the work, it's nothing I can do for you. Because at the end of the day, you have your expectations as your manager or as a manager or as someone helping you. I also have mine. Because if I'm in position or if someone is coming to say, okay, well, I want you to be my manager, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? Because if I'm in the higher position to make you what and take you where you want to go, what are you bringing to the table? It's more than just you have great music. It's more than just do you listen? Are you coachable?
Talk about that part.
Do you learn?
Yeah,
that part.
Can you take constructive criticism?
that right there.
Are you willing to adhere to a tight schedule? Like, are you willing to diet? Are you willing to work? It comes
You're a
with
student
a whole
when it comes
bunch.
to
It's
this,
a
yeah.
student when it comes to having a manager, because at that point you're giving someone else the control of what you are actually moving and how you're moving. So people be, oh, well, yeah, I need a manager with nothing to manage. It all first starts down with your work ethic. Forget what you got going on, because if you ain't got the work ethic, you don't have nothing to begin with, no way.
Absolutely.
So it gets deep. It gets real deep. And for people who are coming into and or starting or been doing it for a while, I've noticed I rather have people that I can go and vent to and talk to that'll give me real insight on how to make things better. That can be, hey, I see that you're doing this. How about you try to do this? And I'm going to go and do and say, you said do what? Try this? All right, I never did it, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it works out for me. Okay, I need you around, because if not for nothing, I know I'm not ready to say, hey, I need a manager, but I know, hey, if I call you and say, I have this situation where it's da-da-da-da-da-da, and I quite don't understand this. Can you break this down for me? I know I can go to that person and it's going to be a genuine, legit answer. And we're going to have real conversation, and whatever they tell me, I know because we had a conversation. They told me to do something. I did it. It worked. I know now I can go talk to you. Hey, this came across my desk real quick. Can you put your eyes on this for me? Now I'm building a relationship with that person. So now not only am I building this relationship, I have a working relationship with you now. We're not obligated to each other, but I see that you see that I'm willing to listen and do the hard work. So that says, okay, she's someone that I can teach. I see that you're willing to listen to me and hear out my discrepancies, and we can come to a common ground. Now, okay, let's see what she's actually doing. Now you're putting yourself, instead of you going to ask for a manager is now going to come find you.
Right.
And that's the way that it should be. You know, artists, especially if you don't have nothing really going on, no artist should be out here asking for a manager or for someone to be their manager unless you've gone to seek them out. Managers find you. You don't find managers.
Well, I'm a
Talk that talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. So, I would seek everybody that came to me. I would seek. I never went out because that wasn't my forte. I wasn't looking to be a manager of people. I managed myself. You know, I started off doing shows and things like that. So that's the only person I managed, and then I started growing into all these other things. Most of the people that I managed came to me, or I helped out, they came to me. But I want to talk about when you said how people, when you're a manager, they think you're supposed to pay for everything and whatever. And I had that experience a couple of times. I have a young lady that she's an actress, and she saw me doing stuff with other people. And when she came to me and I started setting stuff up for her, like photo shoots and things like that, she would be like, oh, well, so how much is that's gonna cost you? What you mean cost me? And my opinion, I mean, I didn't mean to say opinion, but my thing is when you seek a manager or however it goes down, you have to be prepared to financially back yourself.
Facts.
You know, and for me, I have no problem financially backing someone, but don't think everything that you do, I'm going to pay out my pocket. And also, one thing I do speak on is contract. In my contracts, anything that I dish out my pocket because I think that you need it, and if you can't afford to do it, and I think that you need it to get us to where we need to go, you're going to have to pay me back. You know, so a lot of times people come and they think like, oh, you're supposed to pay for this, you're supposed to pay for that. And I'm pulling out, which comes like, okay, that's not what it's saying. This is what a manager's supposed to do. But I also had a conversation with Vado, and I'm going to put it back to the floor, where I said that when I take on a client, I customize my contract to what they want me to do. You know, we can go by what the standard is. But I feel like for people, everything is different. You might not need me for certain things. You know, you might need me for everything. So I do have clients that I work like that. Like one client I do everything for, you know, like Jamal was saying earlier. But then I have one client, he just need me to do this, and the other. And every now and again, I'll come in and say, hey, I think you need to do this. And he'd be like, oh, okay, we have a conversation. But I feel like for me, it works better because you trying to do all these other things. And it's like half the time these people don't even need all that. You know, so all my contracts are really customized around my client. You wanted to say something, Mr. Jamal?
I'm about to say I did. I wanted to say
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was trying to get my attention.
Because I love, like, you deserve your flowers for that as far as, like, customizing a contract for whoever you're dealing with because I've been presented, like, label, contracts and stuff like that. And the thing about it is you're giving a general template contract to each and every artist. It's the same thing, you feel me, on the fine print. It's not customized to the artist. So I'm pretty much a one-woman army a lot of the time. And people that I notice, like, in this industry, people only going to take you as serious as you take yourself. How much are you investing into yourself is how people are going to take you seriously, you feel me? So being presented certain contracts and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I don't need this, but you want me to, I had to pay dues since I was involved with the label, but certain stuff wasn't required, you know what I'm saying? I could do it myself, but I'm very happy that you take a moment to do that, just within itself, be personable with the artist, and also even to piggyback on what you said, because I forget, that's a thing too, like, at the end of the day, I needed an advisor. I really didn't need a manager. You feel me? I want to make sure that I'm taking each and every logical step that this won't backfire in the long haul. Because since this is something that it's not on me, it's in me, it's a calling over my life, I want to make sure that I'm fulfilling my purpose before I transcend, you feel me? It just is what it is. So
Absolutely.
long as you're being truthful and I can put that trust into you, then we can talk about several other things and I can possibly put, an egg in another basket somewhere else. But yeah, that was the main thing.
I think for me, I'm big on accountability when it comes to people, period. You know what I mean? Just like I was saying earlier, I think it's big to be inquisitive and know the type of questions that you should be asking. In my personal opinion, I don't approach any situation without asking, what's the budget, right? Because that is the question that'll get past any type of monetary issue, right? If I come into a situation, even if I walked into this room right now and I say, hey, I'm usually paid for interviews, right? What is you guys' budget? Now, without personal feelings aside, people will say like, oh, well, I can only pay you about $45 an hour, right? So this is how we used to work it back in the day. If we needed if I needed somebody for a video and I needed somebody to do something specific for a visual, they'll say like, hey, I need to be paid, right? Now, some people come off like that, or I need to be paid, which is fine. I understand. Everybody needs to be paid for their time, right? Excuse me. I think that I would say like, we pay $45 an hour. Now in your mind, you hear $45 an hour, especially 2012, that was something crazy for everybody to be paid. $45 an hour, what? And I'm like, yeah, we do that. But I only need you for an hour.
Right, exactly.
Right? I only need you for an hour. So essentially you're only getting paid $45.
Exactly.
Right? I fulfilled the obligation of what I told you my budget was. You agreed. Now then we can do this, right? So I always ask people, like, well, not me anymore. I think personally for me to get money was a big hurdle early on for me. And I realized that my personal feelings was getting involved,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And that a lot of times your personal emotion get involved. That's how you muddy the waters a bit. So for me personally, I'm not saying nobody else. I needed to get money to get past money, if you will.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
for me, it's kind of like when you come talking to me about money, it's like, man, I'm not talking about no money. I'm just talking about doing the work.
Right.
The money, I got the money. We could do that. That's nothing. Let's just do the work, right? So I think for me, and that's not every artist's process, right? I needed to get the money to get past money. And so I say to you, like, as a manager, when they come to you and they say like, oh, yeah, I thought you paid for that photo shoot, right? Like in my mind, my first conversation with that artist would have been like, well, what's your budget for this photo shoot that I could book? Or I could book this photo shoot down here that is applicable to your budget.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But accountability has to be had. I'm not one of those people that think that one person is completely in the wrong when something goes wrong. I think that's a shared responsibility all the
Absolutely.
time.
It can take two people.
100% of the time, it's a shared responsibility. Now, I may have 98% like part to play in that wrong, right? And you may have 2%, but I do think it's a shared responsibility all the time.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But most of the clients, piggyback on what you were saying, most of the clients that I do manage or I have these conversations with, when I come to them, basically the reason why we go that route is, Ebonics can,
we
yeah,
could
because
talk
right,
about it. I work with Sav.
we when we had a meeting, we came to the table and we talked about what she need, what she wanted me to do, things like that. So that's what I based a lot of things. Now I understand when you say, the accountability and coming in and saying what's your budget, but sometimes as far as me, and it's just me, I'm only speaking on me, I want to help the person. So we're going to make the money as we go along. So that's why I said if it's something that I can pay for, then I don't have no problem with doing that because I'm here to invest in you. I'm here for you. I'm here to get you to where you need to go.
And
but
I always tell her like, I said, no, I don't like really having people in my pocket. How much does it cost?
Right,
How
right.
much does it cost? All right, so she'll tell me, I'm like, okay. And I'll put it in and I'll be like, all right, well, I'm getting ready. I'm close to this number. We can get ready to go ahead, but I also have my own other ailments. So it's not a lot of my situations with her. But like she said, to piggyback, we could talk about it. Like, I love her. Her word is her word. She work how she work, and she's good for people like me, yourself, those of us who don't mind putting $1 down for what you want to do in your life. And she's very much transparent. And it's very much, well, listen, I have this person in this place, and I can do this for you. And like you said, accountability. I'm one of those people whereas I've had my bout where somebody was doing everything for me, but I also didn't know no better. And I would ask questions, but I really couldn't get the answers the things that I really needed answers, I couldn't get them. That situation taught me moving forward in this business, I'm paying for it myself.
Right.
I'm paying for it. And if I cannot pay for it first, now the person that I'm working with now, who's my partner, if he pays for it, I send it back. If he tell me, yeah, such and such and such and such, all right, I'm gonna send you this money when I get paid. We're gonna go ahead and book this, or go ahead and book it. And as soon as I'm selling you, this game gets real tricky and it gets real expensive. And one thing that I had to learn to do, like you said, like how you needed to get money to get over money, I had to get my feelings hurt to get over personal feelings in business.
That happens a lot.
Now that I've gotten my feelings hurt, I don't take anything personal anymore when it comes to this. Long as my bread go to the right place in the right spot, and I know for a fact I got a receipt for it. Excuse my French. I don't give a fuck how you feel about me. I don't care about what you say. I paid you.
Yeah,
right.
See, I'm big on when people. Russell said this, and I never forget it. He says, when people say business is business, right? I don't agree with that. Business is personal.
Yes, it is.
Right?
I remember
a lot
that
of your
interview.
ideologies,
Yes.
a lot of your values, your ethics, your morals.
Business shows you your real character.
And you put all of that into business.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. You know what I mean? So the way you do business is predicated off of how you view life morally. which is probably why you go about it the way that you
Integrity.
do, right?
You have
Yes,
integrity.
integrity,
So,
yes.
yeah.
And sometimes that can come back to bite us simply because we're not working with the same people that have the same
Integrity,
moral code as us, the same ethics, the same level of integrity, right? So you know what I mean. I think that's a good thing to gauge as well. Like, yes, we have a business rapport,
Yes.
right? Before we have any type of relationship. When
Yes.
I'm dating somebody or whatever the case may be, me and you ain't, man, you better go out and date him too.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? We have a rapport, you and
Right.
I.
But
right?
I'm gonna
Wow.
say this.
Okay,
and
I was going to tap on that because of the Can You Talk with Philly piece, but I know we're
Oh,
talking
okay.
industry talk. But no, I have a question for you, Savvy. In all of this, how do you know when to let an artist go?
Oh wow.
Because this has got
wow.
real for me. I'm like
Yeah,
panning
yeah.
and listening and absorbing, but how do you know when to?
I'm gonna say for me is when I feel like I'm not useful for that person, or that person is not utilizing me as that person should.
Okay.
You know, I'm going through that transition right now, like thinking about having a sit down conversation with somebody that I feel like is, you know, we sat down and had this conversation and we wrote out a contract of what things you need me to do, and you're not utilizing me, and I don't feel like I should be running you down all the time. So I feel like when you're not utilizing me for the potential that I have, you know, you came to me and asked me to help you manage what you need to manage.
Absolutely.
So if I'm sitting around, I feel like I'm not doing anything, I feel like I'm useless. One thing about me, and I do agree with you with what you said. One thing about me, because of who I am, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. So if you're not, for what we talked about, if we're not doing that, then why am I here? Like you said, I'm not here just for a title, because I don't care to be called a manager. If you want to call me your assistant, I'm not here for a title. I'm really here to help the artists get to where they need to go. But I want to bring Vado in, because he does a lot, and I know that you work with a lot of artists. So how do you feel about that, though?
Me personally, I look at it from the perspective of when is the artist ready. You know, a lot of the times artists they 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and it's just all about knowing your area as well. It's all about knowing your personnel, who you're dealing with, what they may be going through.
Right.
It's a lot of different aspects of it. So I'm the type of person, I'm like, come to me when you're ready. You know, if you ain't ready, I can't give you a lot of energy. Just come to me when you're ready.
Can I ask you a question? What's ready? What's ready?
So typically when I'm in the stages of development artists, we sit down, we go through all of the things that you need to do, similar to what Savvy is talking about with her contracts around what the artists need. What I'm going off of is everything that's industry standard. That's where we start. What does it take to make sure that you're an artist that's going to be able to meet the standards within the industry, whether that be how your music is uploaded, the metadata, how you popping up in the search engines, all of that matters. All of that is very important. So that's where we starting at.
Okay.
If you can't get past these steps right here, because you're going to have to spend your budget, because we're not spending my budget. Like, that's just not happening. I'm here to advise you. I'm here to help you get to the next level. That's my goal. That's what I'm here for. Now, if you can't make it past step 1 and 2, just come to me when you're ready. I'm going to work collaboratively with the artist. I'm working right next to the artist. So I'm matching your energy. If your energy ain't matching my energy, I'm going to slow down until you stop or I stop.
So basically what you're saying is if I got to chase you for what you say you want, you don't want it.
I'm not chasing you.
Well, even in that, right? So you said, you used a word that I know a lot of artists just don't know. If you're talking about independently, right? When you're talking about metadata and understanding how simple what that is, that's just a big word to explain something very simple.
Right.
You talk a lot about like knowing your personnel. How is knowing your personnel as far as, because you primarily deal with artists from Baltimore?
Right.
All right, when you talk about knowing your personnel, how has that benefited you in the way that you conduct your business?
Reiterate the question for me one more time.
So when you say like,
answer your question.
yeah, like when you say knowing your personnel, right? Like if you work primarily with people from Baltimore, how has understanding the mindset of a person from Baltimore, an artist from Baltimore, growing up where we grew up, helps you in how you run your business, or like how has that dictated how you run or conduct business with
That's
these
a good
artists?
question.
Yeah, it's really to me that's actually pretty much simple. It's really what I just said. Like, when are you ready? Like, I'm not telling you I don't ever want to work with you. I'm not telling you shut out. I'm not telling you that I'm never going to give you any type of information, never. Like, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm still here to support you. You still may catch me at a show. I'm going to take your pictures. I'm going to be the one with the camera. I'm going to be catching the footage even when the homie's not. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here to support you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We all trying to come out together. We all trying to come out the community. It don't matter if Savvy the manager. It don't matter if I'm the manager. It don't matter who's the manager. We all here. We all in this together. We all working together. You know what I'm saying? We all working a part of the same scene. We all.
So you don't think Baltimore bias plays a part at all, right?
I wasn't even ready to like.
I was
That's
about
what
to ask
I mean,
on that too. Yes.
To a certain extent, it's like, what are we calling the bias? You know, because when I go out of town, I get love.
No.
But that's
Out of town. He talking about here.
That's what I was about to say.
When
Here, it's hard.
It's different.
Yeah, to branch out. If you're not riding the Baltimore wave and you in that type of like environment, you feel me? Like, okay, prime example, like I consider myself to be a crossover artist, you feel me? With the environment that we have here, though, kind of back to what we was talking about with the women, how it's being portrayed in the industry. What is being fed to our community right now? You know what I'm saying? What's the energy? What's the notion? What's the vibration that we
Everybody wanna
on?
be a gangster.
We on a lower
Right.
vibrational tier. We not
Everybody is a
operating high vibe. You feel me? So with trying to branch out to this market, how, is that going with the type of artists that we have from here? You feel me? Because it's so small-minded. And we have this big world with millions of billions of people, but you still stuck on 410. You feel me? What's going on?
Because I'm not a part of, or I'm not the hottest drug dealer,
Yeah.
I'm not the hottest athlete, or I'm not, because I'm
Right.
perfectly honest, I was born here, but I wasn't raised here. And because of that, and now that I am here, regardless of how hot that I know some people may feel about my music, because I'm not a Baltimorean, they don't really fool with me too much. I
Yeah.
personally don't care, because for me, it's bigger than this. It's always have been, because it's bigger than where we are. However, that Baltimore bias is real.
Come on, let's talk about it.
And it's nothing wrong with it. I get it, because you do. It's y'all own. Y'all,
It's something wrong with it for
own.
me.
Can we?
Right.
Can we? What is the Baltimore bias? Just so I know what I'm speaking.
If
on.
you're not in that particular crowd, meaning I noticed that right now, when I first started coming and got here, y'all had
So like gatekeeping,
mad.
like it's like gatekeeping.
I ain't even
you
gonna
feel
say
as
it's
though.
gatekeeping. It's just that if you're not in that street life, nobody's dealing with your music. When I
Right.
first got here, y'all had Lord Scooter. It was so many.
Moose was at his
artists.
height. You
Now
feel me?
everybody is dead. They're killing each other, and you only have, I hear about Moose, Scola, Tech, and that's really about it. Roddy might have been the person that made it out the furthest, maybe, and he even still kind of, they only let him in, but so far, how Tech is here, he should have been.
Literally.
Been. But it's a Baltimore bias, and it's not even with Baltimore, it's within the industry, because there's somebody in Baltimore everywhere next to a famous person, but they ain't never in the limelight. Mario got it, okay. Maya, but she's not technically from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like, she's from PG County. The people that are not directly from the city ain't getting it.
Okay, let's talk that industry stuff.
Yeah,
Let's come on.
definitely. Like, what is the? I think it's gatekeeping personally, but what is it that's keeping all of our local artists who are hot, who are like
Shout out to
relevant?
BM Stunton.
I think something that we have to look at, right? We have to look at what are we doing for the scene, right? So we have to make sure that we showing up at these open mics. We need to make sure that we're pushing the right people, we're pushing the right sound. Because when it comes to initiative and what's being pushed on social media, yeah, you're gonna hear all the, you know what I mean? Like, we're gonna hear the trap music, we're gonna hear whatever. Like, that's just what it is. That's what engages people's minds on social media a lot of times. But to be honest, what audience are you trying to attract? If you're trying to attract a different type of audience, that's going to make you have to put yourself in a certain type of room. You're gonna have to, because honestly, I'm at Coalition DJs.
Yeah, I know, I seen that.
You know what I mean? I'm every second
is
Wednesday,
diverse.
and it's like, I'm like, all these Baltimore artists, we got all of the DJs in here. We got DJ Roomcam. I got my man DJ Best Friend coming from DC. I got DJ Ambitious.
And you know what's
Duke
crazy?
tapped in with us. So it's just like,
And these are DJs that I know from not meeting them here. This is me going to perform in Virginia, me going to New York, me going to different places,
Right.
not here.
but it's here. So it's
But
just
it
like,
is here, but I didn't learn about them from being here.
Right, but
So-
we talking about here though.
Right.
Right,
So
so
the shows that I've done here, the shows that I've done when I was doing the open mic scene here, those DJs were not here. I found those DJs by leaving.
Okay.
It's an
Going other
image
places.
thing.
Oh, okay.
It's an image thing, I believe. And even like now, thinking about it, the more and more that I hear y'all talk, it is like a kind of like a gatekeeping thing. The more and more you travel outside of Baltimore, because
more
the
you
energy
find.
is like a cancer here. It's that crab in a
In a barrel.
barrel
Yes,
mentality.
yes, it is.
And I
Yes,
don't know
it
what
is.
we have to do to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I
don't
can
know.
tell you from an education standpoint what it
Yeah.
is, but from like the industry, I'm
don't-
not
I'm
in the
not-
music
I can't-
It's the
industry, so I
same
really don't know.
thing.
It's the
It's
same
the same
exact
thing,
thing.
right? So
Okay.
the reality of it is, you just got to educate yourself, because
Yeah.
I know that some of the names that y'all named, and I'm not into the whole name thing, because I love those brothers, right? Some of those guys,
Yeah,
one of
absolutely.
those guys grew up 5 minutes down the street from me. The reality of it is, you got to educate yourself on what your market is, because we have beautiful people like Sonny Cow, who's signed to TT the Artist, right? Who's performing at Artscape coming up this weekend, right? You have people like Butch Dawson, who doesn't sound like those
I
three
love
artists.
Butch.
And he had his own thing going. Brent Fayez had his own thing
I
going
love
Yes.
Brent.
before
Yes.
he.
Love
I mean,
him.
Sonder is a two produced one of my projects. Who's in Sonder with Brent? Like, we have to actually find, and then we got what I call the artsy part of town, which is Charles Village, right?
Yeah.
Where you got the guys, where we got the Crown. We have oh man, I'm forgetting some of these places, but all along Charles Street.
I was about to say,
you-
right? Like
Oh,
the
yeah,
North
that's-
Avenue
that
type
Metro
of
area.
One
area.
Gallery. We
Micah.
talking about Icon of God, Wish Granted,
Oh,
Chase
yeah,
Ultra,
listen.
Ashley Sierra.
Love
Some
all
of the
of them.
people that I love, right? So we got to find our audience, right? Cater to that audience. Keep on breaking into that audience. I can't. And show up to Coalition DJs on Wednesdays, and show up to Woo Wednesdays. You got to be outside.
Right.
It's
Right.
hard.
Right.
I am an artist that still works. So a lot of that stuff that goes on the days that I'm interested in are during my working hours. I cannot be there.
And that's it. And
So
here's the
I get it.
yeah.
Which is I know I know why. I
Right.
know what's up with
Yeah.
me. I'm
Right.
just saying this is the conversation.
No. I'm not talking. I'm not trying to target you at all.
No,
I'm
no,
just saying.
But that's a good
just
point.
me.
though.
Any artist.
I'm at work most
Yeah.
of the time. The stuff that I want to do for me as an artist that goes on, I'm at work. It's not the things that are bigger than just Baltimore happens during the work days.
Mm-hmm.
Weekends you have your party, this person, this person, this person, this person. So that what's being pushed is because that's the narrative of what it is. It's ACES. So you got your YG check. It's down to club downtown or whatever they renaming the strip clubs or what you for whatever. Because that's what I see, because that's who's promoting that when I'm off. During the week, the stuff that I need is during my working hours.
And it's a
So
strategy to that.
it's a strategy,
Yeah.
and I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to get them to shift some of my days so I can now go.
I was gonna
into
say,
that
yeah,
it's
definitely
crowd.
open
It's
up
definitely-
your
it's
so I can
definitely
schedule.
open up my
It's-
schedule for it. But it's like for the people who are not in my shoes and or who can't just yet get into that demographic, the younger artists coming up after us and under them, that's all that they have. And and that's that's why I said when she said the crab and the bear, how do we help them? Because yes, we can help us, we can help, but the ones that's all that they're being force fed. They're being force fed it. The teachers in the school are using these people's lingo lyrics to teach them.
Right.
I think.
Less, like how do
I
how
think,
does that help?
I think it's again. And I'm not saying I will go straight back to education. It's just about education, right? So I'm connected. If for me, for example, if I know my week, the weekend allows me to get outside, and I'm pushing a product or I'm pushing my brand, I'm pushing. Let's just say I have an album coming out or whatever the case is. I'm in overload on the weekend. You get what I'm
Facts.
saying? I'm attaching myself to the tastemakers of my sound, right? And then I'm seeing what they got going on. Easy Jackson has something going on all the time with the Epic fam, and Easy Jackson is plugged in with the city, right? DJ Lil Jetta has Industry Mondays, right? I can do things that I don't even have to be around for. If I work on a Monday, I send my song to DJ Lil Jetta on a Saturday. Hey, brother, put this in your rotation on Monday. Let me know how the analytics were. You get what I'm
you
saying?
have that rapport with him though, right?
Yeah, I know Lil Jetta just from being outside, but I've been outside for a long time. But what I'm saying is he responds to DMs. You get what I'm saying? Some people won't. It is what it is. You just got to keep
Yeah,
it going.
I definitely, I'm the queen of jumping in people's DMs
Yeah.
before I show up to like any type of project or show. Like I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna be in town.
That's facts.
You know, I'm coming. Like,
That's
you think
facts.
we could sit down and do like 3 minutes or whatever, or just meeting them personally, stepping to them and just introducing yourself. Like that goes a long way. It goes back to like the olden days. People say when you introduce yourself,
the brick and mortar part.
Yes, the whole brick and mortar. Just stepping to them and saying, hey, my name is, and this is what's going on, and I would love to be able to, or do you think you could, and see what vibes. You know what I mean? And if they say no, I'll be like, all right, cool.
Y'all just
move to the
helped me out a
next.
lot. I gotta sing.
Listen, let's go.
No, it's going
Shucks.
to a bunch of people that's going to tell you, everybody not savvy and going considering you, right? So, for example, like,
no ain't nothing but a prelude to a yes. Nobody worried about that.
Like I said, savvy is a very considerate person, right? From my perspective, right? I've never worked with her on my personal business, right? But every time she had a show or something like that, or something that she was pushing, she would always keep me in mind.
I said she brings the
opportunity.
opportunity.
You get what I'm saying?
That's
she
a
would
fact.
consider me. So, but everybody's not like that, right? So sometimes you got to go to these people, and again, like I said, education is a big thing. Like from what he's saying, everything that I hear Valo saying right now is I heard 10 times over. When we talking about content creators, we talking about managing artists and being a collaborator, right, of sorts, right? Because he's dual-hatted, multi-hatted. He wears a bunch of different hats. I've heard this from a lot of different artists who have, even if they have like an innate ability to catapult your career to whatever the next level is, right? And then he seems well researched. I don't know much about the brother, but he seems well researched, right? And so even attaching myself to him, I don't have to be a part of everything that he has going on. But when I see something that fits my brand, I'm like, hey, bro, you got a slot for me over there?
Right.
Hey, bro, you got a ticket for me for this event? Because I'm trying to network, right?
Nah, facts.
And it all boils down to education. So I do want you to speak from that perspective of like, I know how it works from an education perspective, but not necessarily, because those two things are one and the same, in my opinion.
I mean, it's all on who you know. It's all on, how articulate you are when you step to an artist or someone who you feel has that platform to kind of get your music or your, idea out there. I look at education from a different perspective oftentimes because I feel like we're like a silo in a sense. Like everything that happens here, I'm like, God, this is not happening out in the real world. It can't be. But, understanding that the more you educate yourself, the more you put yourself out there. Like I tell people always, sit in the front row. No matter where you go, always sit in the front row. And that means like just being able to jump in that DM. Being able to walk up to that person and introduce yourself, like not having that fear, and just knowing that, like being confident about what you have and what you're presenting, and knowing that that person needs it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it kind of tinkers on some other things. Like if I'm selling a product and I know you need it, I'm gonna push it as hard as I can. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna put myself in a position of, being vulnerable to the critics and not feeling no type of way. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've done interviews with people with an iPad, sitting down with people, millionaires with an iPad. And they're like, oh, this is a dope setup. I'm like, oh, okay. I was feeling just like, they're going to be like, if you don't get that out of here, like, knock that stuff over. But, understanding that your energy is what's going to precede you.
Exactly.
And they're going to want that.
Yeah.
And they're going to want whatever whatever you got, they're going to want. Like, I still keep in contact with a lot of famous comedians. Like, one time I, sat with he's not local. Like, he has like 2 million followers, but one of the comedians DM'd me to ask me, is he really funny in person? And I'm like, yo, you're asking me if this person is funny? I'm like, yeah, he's funny. You know what I mean? Like, you're funny. You want my opinion of someone else being funny. Like, so it's just, understanding that, building that relationship. And I keep everything professional.
Right.
I don't care who you are, unless it's Idris. Idris, if you out there.
We're not promoting. No.
Okay, never mind. But no,
if you're doing that, the guy from Wu-Tang, if you,
Yes,
I'm single. I'm single.
Honestly, shout out to Black Ron, comedian Black Ron. He was one of the first ones that say, pull up at my show and interview me there.
Right.
And that's how this all got started, just from him saying, pull up on me at my show,
See, that's
you
dope.
know. But yeah, build those relationships, build those professional relationships, and be confident in, what it is that you got. Like you said, a no is a prelude to a yes.
Yes, yeah.
So like run that. You know what I mean? And just keep going out there. I can't tell you how many comedians I walked up to and asked for an interview. I ain't gonna name no names. It was like 2 of them. They were like, nah, I don't do on the spot interviews. Like 2 minutes, like I'm gonna ask you something real simple, you know what I mean? But it's all good, because you ain't
Yeah.
the only. So
Right.
it's a whole lot of other people I can go get.
Yeah, I think the industry is just wide open. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
more festivals now than
Than
that
ever
ever
before.
was in the history. And I mean, I ran into DJ D Nice last night at a restaurant in DC, right? He was in there enjoying dinner. I'm not about to,
Right.
I'm not about to run up on him, but just to know that the access is like that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to say he can plug me in or put me in somewhere, but maybe I could go and see where he's at for that night.
Look,
Maybe
Right,
he's
right.
not even doing anything.
me personally, not that I would have pulled up on him at at the dinner table, but at valet,
Oh yeah, yeah.
at valet, I'd have been like, is he getting his car now? Bet.
Right,
I'd have
right.
left my credit card on the
Catch me
table. Like, I ain't
outside.
going nowhere. Let me just run out here real quick.
It's so many strategic ways to do it.
Yes.
Right? Back in the day, I did when Kendrick Lamar first came out.
Okay, we gonna have to wrap it up. But
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry,
Make it,
go ahead.
No, go make it short.
All right, I'll make it real quick. Kendrick Lamar first came out. I was a very big fan of the label, but I knew that they were selling these their merch out of Carson, California, where their studio was. So I ordered a hoodie, not because I was super huge fan of the label, but I'm like, I can get the address to at least where their merch spot is in Carson, California. I'm going to send my mixtape, which at that point in time was a CD format and a small USB, right, to Carson, California, right? So I sent that to that mailbox, and the next thing I know, I got a follow from one of their guys in their label, right? I'm not gonna say the person's name, but that person followed me on Twitter, right? And so now my job was to keep on putting things in front of this guy's face in order for him to reach out to me and say, hey, I like what you got going on. Let's do something.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't have to give you a deal or whatever.
Right.
But let's do something. So that I think is so many different unique ways to kind
Yes.
of get to one of your end goals.
No,
Right.
that's
Yes.
real.
All
I
right.
just-
But I want to thank everybody for coming and having this talk with us.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about doing another one next month. I think I want to keep it rolling for a while. I said that to Valdo over there that I want to keep it. So then I guess I'm gonna bring the managers in the next time and see what they got to say about this. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I want you to start and Jamal and just tell us where everybody can find you and what you got going on, if you got anything going on, and your last thoughts, and we could just move it around the room.
Sure. Jamal G. Follow me at the Jamal G on all internet platforms. I have a residency coming up at the Vauxhall Theater next spring, so you can come see night 1 or night 2 of the Jamal G show featuring the collection in Onyx. But look out for the album. I'll talk to you about the album when I want to release the title and stuff like that.
You've got your name?
Follow the artist. Y'all can follow me on Instagram. Follow the artist. I'm everywhere, man. I'm out here working. Y'all can pull up the Coalition DJs, Baltimore City, second Wednesday. We down nightlife. We down there, DJ Ambitious, Big Guys, Sleep Don't Reach. Y'all make sure y'all come tap in with us. Got the music studio, 10 South Street. I'm really working on progressing and developing artists on a deeper level than just developing you with inside the booth, but also on the outside of the booth. So yeah.
So, it's Lil Savage Danger signing off with the gang. Y'all can follow me at all socials at Danger Aurora, or you can also follow me at Lil Savage Danger, of course. September 30th, I have a event that I'm hosting at Remix. It's downtown. It's going to be an R&B type of vibe, so any spoken word artists, R&B artists, definitely tap in. You can DM me and I can get you locked in. I think we got like 2-3 slots left, so please hop on it. Also, this coming Friday, I'm also partnered up with the music department right now. They are located in Camp Springs, Maryland. We are having a beat auction. All of us artists, that's in the room, we need beats. So definitely tap in with me,
Okay. And how you doing? It's like, now this is Ebonics. You can find me on social media at _Ebonics Music, and it's EBONIXMUZIK _ in the beginning, _ at the end. I do have a single dropping on the 15th. It's called HOE. It's going on all platforms that stand for happiness over everything. Don't believe everything that you hear. Sometimes you'll hear things and it's not what you think it means. It's deeper messages than a lot of things. And remember, a no is nothing but a prelude to a yes. Thank you for having me on the show. And this was fun. Y'all have a dope day.
And it's your girl Philly from Can You Talk with Philly. You can follow me on IG at Can You Talk _ Philly. I'm also on Facebook and probably some other places. I can't Twitter, some other places, but definitely tap in. I'm loving this studio, so I might need to talk to the management real quick. So.
Okay, shout out to the management. And y'all know me, it's your girl Savvy from Savvy Events brand, Savvy ET Korner and Savvy's Life. And I have a show coming up in February. It's going to be dope, y'all. It's going to be sexy. It's my alter ego. So, but I'll be talking about that a little later and more. Just keep watching my Instagram and y'all see everything that I'm trying to do. But I want to thank everybody for coming out today, because y'all could have been doing anything today and y'all came and y'all sat in the room and y'all had a real personal conversation. So I appreciate y'all and hope y'all have a good, blessed day. Take care of yourselves.
All right.